Hello, this is Lauren Holley-Allen, back with you, Emergency Management Made Easy with Lauren. This is class number 21 in the series. Title, Evacuation Protocol Training, Part 2. Quickly leaving the premises. My reference documents for you are 2 recent classes that you received titled Active Shooter Training and Evacuation Training. This is news you can use if you haven't heard about it. A mass shooting or worse tragedy was averted. A mass shooting was averted on Saturday, September the 20th, 25. Patrons at the Nashua, New Hampshire Sky Meadow Country Club prevented a tragedy with selfless acts. According to Attorney General John Formel, the patrons at the restaurant acted quickly and selflessly to stop the gunman who opened fire while a wedding was taking place at the country club. 1 person was killed, and 2 others were wounded by gunfire before a 23-year-old suspect was taken into custody not long after the shooting. Ambulances were parked outside a hotel that was acting as a reunification center. And please write that down, and I hope you have your pencils and your pads ready. Reunification center. Keep that on mind. After the shooting, 3 gunshot victims and others suffered injuries, included lacerations, a broken hand, and blunt force trauma. Fortunately, Nashua Fire and Rescue assisted 100 people from the scene to a nearby firehouse, mostly on foot. Keep that in mind. So what did the patrons do? Let's evaluate it together like we always do in these situations. Someone hit him over the head with a chair to subdue him. And he probably saved a bunch of lives just doing that, according to the wedding DJ and WCVB TV, local ABC affiliate in Boston. Reminders. Active shooter training. It may become necessary to fight back against perpetrators. Evacuation training. The Reunification Center is a temporary designated local location where families and friends can be reunited with loved ones after an emergency disaster or other mass casualty incident. Both resources, including assembly area, provides an organized and secure process to manage the emotional and chaotic aftermath of such events. The emergency assembly area is important to ensure everyone is able to escape from a given emergency as quickly as possible. It is a predetermined location that acts as a middle point between the emergency and the final safety destination. The assembly is a space that perform head counts and assess whether there are people still located at the emergency site. This gives greater control of the situation. Make sense? After all, without having a space to guide the evacuation process, it's likely it will become chaotic. Safety and security procedures are in place to ensure that children and other individuals are released only to authorized people with proper identification. How safe are these areas? Good question. It's important to assess all the different areas within each of your facility and make a list of the safest ones to be considered for an evacuation assembly. And it's an evacuation assembly area or a reunification center. I don't like that word, but it's important. Reunification center. Does the pathway to the area pose any kind of risk to people evacuating? If there are obstacles in the way that count and that could prevent access to the area, and that you should probably rethink your selection of that location if it's going to pose problems, if it's not a good area. Some examples may include a bridge, a high traffic road, possible tripping hazards, or small winding pathways. It's not just about the safety of the location, but the safety of the route that gets you there. So whatever tripping hazards, whatever may become a problem, that should be considered and discussed during your emergency team meetings. These areas need to be spacious enough as it's where Chief Fire Warden will conduct a head count on evacuees. Too close to the emergency is not ideal because that would make the site more vulnerable to the same threat posed by the emergency location. Too far isn't ideal either, as the evacuees will need to get there on foot, and this poses risk to individuals who have been injured in the incident and those who are generally unable to walk too far. Emergency team training. It's crucial to have adequate emergency training so your team knows exactly where to go and how to get there. Rescue guidance for special needs and vulnerable populations, non-English speaking and elderly people. 1, the signal to evaluate must be well understood by all. Use of tactile devices may be necessary to alert congregants who would not otherwise be able to recognize an audible or visual alarm due to language and visual barriers. 2, the needs of special population and guests may require additional accommodation, such as sign language, interpreters if they are on site. And 3, trained security and assigned staff will be needed to assist disabled members and guests who are wheelchair bound, visually impaired, or others who are physically challenged with disabilities during the emergency. 4, these training procedures are OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Organization in the United States. They are regulations by OSHA. Accounting for everyone. Pencils up. So accounting for everyone on site after an evacuation. Inform emergency personnel of anyone left stuck in the building or stairwells. Accounting for everyone who is evacuated out of buildings is critical. Confusion in the assembly areas can lead to delays in rescuing anyone trapped in buildings, on the premises, or campus. In addition, unnecessary search and rescue operations may occur. The designated assembly area should be safe, a safe distance away from the campus or the emergency. Take a head count after the evacuation. Identify the names and last known locations of anyone not accounted for and give the information to the people in charge. That can be the fire department or it can be your emergency team members or administrators. Notify the police, fire department, and designated staff if someone is missing during an emergency. Train and admonish all people present to not go anywhere except the designated meeting place after they are evacuated from the buildings on campus. We do not want emergency personnel risking their lives searching for anyone because you and I, will not know who got out safely if anyone wanders off to go home or leave the group. Most important, while all of it is important, do not leave the designated meeting place until you are debriefed and all clear is announced. That is what you are to train and teach everyone. Assigned security teams will provide crowd control of the parking lots and designated meeting reunification sites. Ideally, the meeting reunification site will be further away, but within safe walking distance, especially for those people with special needs. Keep in mind, evacuation and lack of transportation can be a challenge. Security personnel and emergency responders should be present to ensure every person's safety. OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Organization, United States. Development of an emergency action plan. We call it an EAP, and that's what they call it, an EAP, an emergency action plan. A very simple plan will suffice in offices, retail shops, and small manufacturing settings and businesses where there are few or no hazardous materials, or processes and employees evacuate when an alarm sounds or when notified by public address systems. More complex plans are required in workspaces and places containing hazardous materials or workplaces where employees are more proficient in fighting fires and perform rescue and medical tasks. The training and drills identify and rectify plan weaknesses. Training allows safety personnel to spot issues in the emergency plan, such as blocked exits, communication breakdowns, and insufficient staff assistance for vulnerable individuals. Administrators and business owners should keep a copy of your emergency action plan in a convenient location where employees can get to it to provide a copy to all employees. If you have 10 or fewer employees, you may communicate your plan orally. That is a regulation. My advice, while not in disagreement with OSHA, is to keep copies of all important documents off-site for insurance, legal. Well, a customer or employee may slip, trip, or fall. In government entities, fire departments, for all verification purposes, may be necessary. You are a business owner and legally liable no matter the size of your establishment. Please keep that in mind. It may be easy just to do what OSHA says, just do enough. But if something happens and you don't have proper documentation, and your lawyer wants it, or the fire department needs it, or any government entity needs it, you are in trouble as a business owner. So always keep your papers in place and have your own back. Make sure you are in order. Promote compliance with regulations. Many districts require evacuation drills to ensure workplaces and public buildings meet safety standards, helping organizations avoid penalties. After changes to the plan, rerun drills when there are changes to the building, layout, equipment, processes, or personnel, as this can affect evacuation. Rerun the drills. You've trained people, you drilled them, an emergency happened, it didn't go well. What did I say during our last training? Train them again. Start over. Even if you have to rewrite your plan, start over. Something is wrong. They're not getting it. In lieu of everything we talked about today, really Sunday at church, for the first time in years, a woman was sitting next to me to my right, and she was blind. And she needed to go to the front of the church because she wanted to pray. And I had the honor of escorting her to the front of the church. These are the things we're talking about. Heavy emphasis on special needs. And also, second emphasis on reunification, safe spaces to meet, how to get there, and are they the best places to have your staff or team meet after any emergency. And that's why the example of this emergency could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse if the people involved had not stepped up, had to fight. They had to do what they had to do, and those people had to evacuate out of there. Once they got out of there, the fire department was across the street, and then just a couple of blocks away, 100 people were treated there and taken care of there because that was within walking distance. And that is the point of this particular training today. That emergency covered evacuation training, absolutely, and it covered active shooter training. So having said that, I'm going to dash. You know where to find me by email if you have a question or concern. Prepare before it happens at outlook.com. I'll be here. If you have left this video and you come back in, it's going to be a little different because I decided to rejoin this video and provide additional information. And that's going to be the difference. So stay safe until I see you again. It's going to be interesting next week. We're going to just keep rolling on. Thank you for coming on. Did you subscribe? Did you help me out? Did you like this? Are you going to subscribe? I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.